Wow. It's good to see you guys again without your masks on. You guys have amazing smiles. Did you know that? You do. It's a lot better than mine. But anyways, though, started a new channel and I have a website name that just takes you to the YouTube channel. Makes it easier to find the channel because YouTube is just silly in the way that they make you have like 100 subscribers for free. You can get a custom URL, and then somebody comes along and they say, "Hey man, what's your channel?" And you're like, "Oh, it's Fishing Florida Water." And they're like, "Oh, cool. I'll add you on there." And then they go and they're looking through all these YouTube channels, and they can't find your channel, and they never subscribe, or they were just like, whatever, I'll subscribe anyway. But anyways, it makes it easier to find the channel because it's actually a domain name that just forwards to the channel. So anyways, I started this channel, which is called fishingfloridawater.com. The actual name of it came up by my fiance, whose name is Melissa, and she came up with the name while we were on vacation in Newport Richey. So as soon as I came back to Fort Myers, that's when I picked up the website name, a domain name. I just forwarded over to YouTube the really long URL that YouTube gives, which makes it, like I said, ridiculously hard to find. If anybody asks you how to find it, they can't even find it because there's so many people who have fishing in Florida or something on there, and unless you're real popular and you got like millions of subscribers, they'll probably never find your channel. So it doesn't really even, I don't really even need 100 subscribers to get that custom URL because it really doesn't matter because they already have the domain name, and I can just have people go to that. I could just literally just tell them the website name, and then bam, you're sent to the dang YouTube channel. Just easier that way. Nobody can steal a domain name. Not unless you hack my account. But then you need two-way factor though, because I use a key. So you could probably social engineer my register though, and get my domain if you're a good hacker. But anyways though, so what's that YouTube channel that you're starting gonna have on? You're probably wondering. Well, this channel that I started, and it's just between us though. Don't tell anybody because we don't want anybody to know. But anyways, it's gonna have like the basic stuff. We're gonna have the basic stuff, and then we're gonna have some more advanced stuff on it. So we're gonna start from the training wheels all the way up to the like flying your airplane thing. Not really, but it's gonna be more like, your basic stuff when it comes to fishing. How to get your Florida fishing license. Do you need one for this spot or that spot? How much does it cost? Yada yada yada. And teaching about the fish that are edible versus the fish that you wouldn't want to eat. How to tie knots and how to pick out fishing rod and reels and line for different bodies of water and stuff like that. And catch and cook videos. We'll do some catch and cook videos and stuff like that as well with some of the catches that I do. Teach you how to fish for certain fish and why you should fish that way and stuff like that, and try not to make it a long video. But unfortunately, sometimes I can't really help that because I try to cover a lot of stuff in general. Because when you're when you're using a certain, like say like a rod and reel combo, most people want to know, well, why do you use that one versus this one, or how much weight can you put on this one, or what's the biggest lure that you can put on it, or why didn't you go with the other model versus the one that you have, type stuff, and how much line can it have on it, what's the most line you can have on it, stuff like that. Why did you tie a knot that way versus tying this type of knot, or why do you need that knot, that for that line, etc. Because some people don't understand that stuff, and that's what they kind of got to know, is what they might want to know. And yes, you could have them ask them in the comments, but sometimes it's better just to have it in the video, and I kind of want to show people places where they can fish at, and places I fish at too, and how to catch fish in those spots, and the best times to fish these spots, and what bait to use that time of year versus not using that bait that time of year, and stuff like that. It kind of helped tourists out who come to Florida, and they're probably new to fishing, and they don't know how to fish, and that's kind of what I'm going for, is to kind of target more for the tourist people, to kind of help them, learn how to fish waters of Florida, where to fish at in Florida, where if they're going to be in a certain spot of Florida, you know what I mean? Like, just for example, say like Sarasota, Florida, or Venice, Florida, Fort Myers areas and stuff like that. What baits to use there, what doesn't work there that I've tried for bait and stuff, and how to catch bait, and where to get bait at and stuff, and what, like I said, may have said it, like what type of rig up to use for catching those, whether it's bait fish or catch fish in general, and stuff like that. So, like I said, I might work with some sponsors to kind of maybe help these people. I don't know if I can get local bait shops interested in that type of thing. My kind of thing was I was wanting to work with local bait shops to try to maybe see if they were interested in I don't know, I have to see if there's some tackle shops or bait shops that rent out tackle, because I know a lot of tourists don't want to buy fishing equipment, especially when they're only down here for a weekend. So I gotta look and call around and see if I can get some of these bait shops or something that might be renting tackle or fishing poles and stuff like that, to maybe work with as a sponsor or something like that, or maybe just to get them to talk in a video about their bait stores or whatever, or give a tour around their bait shop, and I don't know, stuff like that, to kind of see if they'd be interested, and then use them in a video. So if somebody wanted to rent a fishing pole, see if they got the type of pole that I would recommend them to use versus what the bait shop would recommend them to use and stuff. And, see if that could work out with some of these local bait shops, or they can make a little bit of money renting out fishing poles and selling some bait and stuff like that. And maybe even get my own little thing set up with them, where it's my own little kit thing that they sell for to tourists, my own little recommended tackle or something. It'd be a cool thing to have, you want to have my own little thing at their bait shop that maybe they would put together, or something like that, where if you're going out to catch snapper, this is the hooks that I would use, the sinkers that I would use, and the fishing line that I would use, or whatever type of thing, and go with that type of thing. If we're going out to catch bigger fish, that could be a big problem, because chances are these bait shops are not likely going to trust you with a expensive rod and reel. Let me tell you, I guarantee you that they are not going to trust you unless you put like a deposit down on half the value of that rod and reel. Like my rod and reel that I use for mainly my big fish, and even though that's like my best rod and reel combo that I have, is like a little over $809, I believe. So, and I mean, that's like my best combo that I have. So I can guarantee you that unless you're probably going to put down half the value of that pole and reel, they probably ain't going to rent it out to you. So trying to catch like a snook or something like that, it's not going to be. I mean, you can catch dink size snooks, and there's people that have caught bigger snook, just for an example, and tarpon and stuff on Walmart stuff. But I'm trying to like help people lose less fish, because let's face it, even though I have a Van Stall, right, and it's equipped now with 65 pounds of braid. I originally had 50-pound braid on it, but I was up in Clearwater, Florida, fishing on vacation back before my birthday, which was May 26th of 2020. Was it 2021? Yeah, 2021. And I was up there in Clearwater fishing, and I hooked on to something that was so massive. I mean, I think it was probably a Goliath grouper, just the way that it was. I mean, it was crazy how strong this fish was. Definitely wasn't a tarpon, because it was more of darting down to the bottom. I mean, it was that pole. My fiance unfortunately didn't record video of the fight. There was this video of me kind of fighting it. It's like a 19 or 20-second clip on my Instagram. So if you check that out, I'll put a link in the description below this video if you want to check out that Instagram video. It's like only 20 seconds long, because she wanted to wait and see if it came up. And unfortunately, it ended up breaking my 50-pound braid. So, I mean, it was literally darting down. A tarpon normally would not do that. It basically bust water. But this thing was so strong, man, that literally it was despooling my Van Stall. And like I said, it would have been amazing to have that video of me fighting this fish. But, didn't happen. There's only a little bit, only 20 seconds worth of that clip. So, anyways, so hopefully I covered a majority of what I wanted to say. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm waiting on like a green screen to show up so that I can do like custom videos of like stuff, a better background and just a plain wall. So I'm kind of waiting on some stuff to arrive before I can start doing videos for that channel. And also I work 40 hours a week, not to play the violin, you know, because I'm sure more people work more hours than I do, but I only get 2 days off a week, and other things in life that I have to do too. So I try to get around to doing fishing whenever I can, if I'm up to it. So anyways, though, that's pretty much the video, and I hope to see some of you subscribe to that channel. And I don't expect many people to start subscribing until there's actually something on the channel worth subscribing to it. But I'll do my best to put out videos just as soon as I can. Like I said, right now I'm kind of waiting for that stuff to come so I can start out with a series of videos of tying knots and stuff like that, and talking about the tackle that I use and all that good stuff. And yeah, so anyways, hopefully here's some from some of y'all, and any suggestions or criticism is all welcome. I'm used to criticism, so feel free to criticize. And one other thing I want to mention too is that like I'm trying to move away from this channel when it comes to fishing, because I did some stuff that, I really had issues, and I still kind of do have issues. And we all learn from our mistakes and we try to move on from it. And unfortunately, some people are never going to let me live that down. So it's unfortunate, but I just try to look at it this way, that I'm trying to mature and try to teach people to fish more, treat the fish more with respect and dignity that they deserve to have, and try not to put them through a lot of trauma. That they're, catching them is already enough trauma for them, but inhumanely killing a fish is, kind of not cool. And I know a lot of people say to boink the fish, to bash its head either with a rock or a bat, a blunt object, but that's not really a humane way of killing a fish or taking its life. There's a better way that I've figured out myself, and I've seen actually other YouTubers do too. Surprisingly, I don't think that they know that that's a humane way to do it. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I know from experience that from me doing this, especially with shrimp too, when I'm gonna take them home and freeze them, I basically humanely euthanize them as well, the same way that I do a lot of fish that I keep when I keep them, if they're fish that I'm gonna eat and stuff. So, like I said, stuff like that, I'm trying to be more respectable to the fish and stuff, and treat them with dignity that they should be given, because technically, I mean, they really do, surprisingly do go through trauma. I mean, they really do kind of suffocate while they're out of the water, which is why it's important that, if you're going to take pictures, you kind of get a move on it type thing, and not keep the fish out of water too long, because they do suffer, man. They really do. You may not think that they do, but they do suffer. It's kind of like you going underwater and not being able to breathe. Their gills start drying out from being out of the water, and the lack of oxygen that is built up in their gills. They have little things in their gills that, when the water is moving, it's able to produce bubbles, which are able to give them oxygen that actually attaches to their gills, and that's how they are able to breathe. And when their gills are drying out, they're basically suffocating, and it's probably pretty terrible. It's kind of like you drowning, only they're basically suffocating because they got no oxygen to their gills. So, yeah. And also, fishing with the wrong tackle, it's kind of not good either. So, kind of trying to teach people how to fish the proper way and stuff, and not cause irresponsible fishing type stuff. Anyways, that's pretty much it. We'll see how things go, and look forward to seeing y'all on that channel. That's all.